Again, so why is it a time of din? Why is it a time of judgment? It's a serious time. It's an introspective time. If you look at the months of the year, at the beginning of the months of the summer year, we see that there's Nisan, Iyar, and Sivan. These are 3 months. Nisan is Aries, is Tle. Sivan is Gemini, is Ta'imim. What's Iyar? Iyar is Taurus, which is the bull. So you have a sheep, a bull, and twins. It's a good match. But what does this mean? In Nisan, like we spoke about in Nisan is that it's the beginning of spring. You went through a hard winter. You were hibernating. You're being with yourself. Then all of a sudden the gift of the spring comes. And then all of a sudden you're given a new gift for life. A new lease in life. But the responsibility that you have in Nisan is like a sheep. You're just meekly receiving what is given to you. That's the energy of Nisan. And Nisan, that's why it's a miraculous month. We have to open ourselves to the miracle by just being present. Iyar is the opposite side. Let's just think about it in terms of the season. Don't understand it in terms of this energy. In the winter, what happens in the winter? Generally in the winter, people become more introverted, more with themselves. It turns darker earlier. It's colder. So people are generally more insular. Now people hibernate more. What happens in the summer? In the summer, people start interacting more with people. So the first, let's say, turning between winter to summer is the first month of the spring, which is Nisan. So in the month of Nisan, you're ready to go out. But when you're ready to go out and have interaction with other people, you feel that there's a new gift that's given to you that you could go out. There's no aggression yet. It's almost like, we'll say, a child that's born, a young child, and it's given the gift of life. And that's why Nisan is also seen as birth. So you're birthed in Nisan. What happens on Iyar? Iyar is when you become strongly an individual. Sivan is when you become a mature individual. And let's imagine this in 3 stages. The first stage that you have is pre-personal. The second stage that you have is personal. The third stage that you have is transpersonal. What does this mean? Pre-personal is like a child. When a child is born, they don't yet know that they exist separate from their parents. If you ever had a child, I'm sure you would see this, that children actually think everything in this world is an extension of them. Everyone's there to serve them. Everyone's an extension of them. They don't yet have a sense of personal. Then a young child starts observing, looks at the edge of his hands or her hands, and all of a sudden realize that they have a body, a separate body, and they have separate needs. And they become aggressively involved in themselves. Very stubborn, very connected to their toys, never want to give, never want to share with anyone else. Right? And it's probably healthy in human development that a child should be very much understanding of who their ego is and what they want. This is a very individuated state. Okay? Maturity, what is maturity is? Maturity is transpersonal. What is transpersonal? Transpersonal means, if personal means that I know what I want, transpersonal means that I also know what you want. Pre-personal means I don't know what I want. Right? Personal means I know what I want. Transpersonal, I know also what you want. That's maturity. Let's just imagine a different scheme at different ages. You're a kid, and then you finally become an adolescent. What do you do when you become an adolescent? You rebel. What do you rebel against? You say, I'm not an extension of my parents. I'm not an extension of my environment. They taught me this and taught me that, but that's what they were teaching me. What do I actually feel? What do I actually want? I want to find my own voice, right? You're finding your voice. You're going through adolescence. And as you're finding your voice. Now, in finding your voice, if this is not done in a healthy way, then it becomes very aggressive and just about yourself. And basically, that's the image of a bull. You run rampant. You have no boundaries. If you have mature emotions, or you mature, so you go from a personal stage to a transpersonal stage, which is, I know what I want. This is my desires. I don't necessarily want what my parents want from me. This is what I want. But I become mature enough to understand what they want from me. That's transpersonal. I can also understand that the other person is a person. Not that, whatever my parents taught me is nonsense and has nothing to do, and I completely want to discontinue this relationship. But you come to a higher understanding. That's really Sivan. Sivan is the Gemini. Gemini is twins, which means transpersonal. There is a 1 and there's a 2. There's twins. So again, in the stages of development, Nisan is birth, and Iyar is becoming independent. Because Iyar is becoming independent, it's about gaining your voice. What is your particular voice? I want to say that it's not just a Kabbalistic construct, it's actually something that we experience. Because if in winter you're becoming more insular and you're becoming less connected with others, and then the beginning of the spring comes and you say, wow, I'm so good, I'm so happy, I want to spend time with a lot of other people, then you start feeling this need to start expressing yourself. Okay, what do I want? How am I going to interact with other people? And you become aggressively independent of expressing your own individuality. The danger of that, this is a healthy thing with a proper measure. The danger of that is then it becomes, all your interpersonal relationships become just very aggressive. So to counter that energy that occurs in the month of Iyar, you say that we learn Pirkei Avos, we learn the ethics of our fathers. What do they deal with? They deal with interpersonal relationships. We do Sfiras Omer, we count the Omer. We deal with Chesed of Chesed, Gvura of Gvura, we counting the Omer. We're dealing with our emotions. Not the emotions the way they exist within ourselves, but the emotions the way they exist in a relationship to other people. Because now we have to deal with ourselves. We're expressing ourselves, but we're making sure that this aggression does not turn into something that ruins all our relationship with other people. So Iyar is a very strong awareness of individuality. That's why it's also connected with Din. Rabbeinu Yerucham, there's other early Rishonim who say you're not allowed to take a haircut because here is Din. Why is here Din? Here, on your head, is Din. Because it's individual strands. It has a very strong sense of individuality. It's together, it's grouped together as a bunch, but it's individuals. And here is connected with Din. Each individual strand of hair is an independent strand. That's the idea of the consciousness of Iyar. The idea of Iyar is about finding this individual voice, finding this individuality. Where does the word Iyar come from? The word Iyar, in pre-exile, which means before the Jews left Israel for the first time through Nebuchadnezzar, the month of Iyar was not called Iyar. It was called Chodesh Aziv, the month of light. Why? Again, because it's the beginning of the spring and the days are becoming longer and it's light. Iyar is a post-exile name. It comes probably from the Canaanite word Ayura, which also means bright. So it's related to the Hebrew word of Ziv. This is incidentally the reason that some commentators of the Talmud say that Iyar is connected with healing because the sun brings healing, and since the days it's spring and the sun is longer, so therefore it's connected with din, with healing. Now the Arizal says that the word Iyar, Aleph Yud Reish, is key. I am Ani Hashem Rafecha. I am Hashem, your healer. That Iyar is connected with healing. Why is Iyar connected with healing? So there's a lot of, we're going to understand what this means, but the first thing that we have to take note is that Iyar is connected with healing because the man, when did the man start falling? The 15th day of Yud. The Torah says that after 30 days they were able to eat the matzah, right? For 30 days. Correct. It lasted for 30 days. So 30, they had enough matzah to last for 30. That's what the Torah says. It's a pasuk in the Chumash that it lasted the Torah for 30 days. So it had the 15th day. The Chassam Sofer says that the Gemara says that a person can last without food for 3 days. So 15, 16, 17. So what day did the man start falling? On the 18th, the Lag B'Omer. So this is the calculation comes out that Lag B'Omer is when the man starts falling. Okay, so let's get into the idea of healing. So you have the idea of man, but what is really connected with Iyar of Ani Hashem Rafecha? So general healing comes from the level of Arich. I just want to give you a few words and then we'll understand what this is. Which also, Arich is Keter. And it's the word Iyar is also numerically Aleph Yud Yud Reish is 221 like Arich. So that's what the Tzemach Tzedek says in Yal Or is connected with Ani Hashem Rafecha. There's